order.
Whoa. You can't call the meeting to order. Point of order. Sir Jay, you got to call the meeting to order. He is not president now. Please, would you? Sir Jay?
Did I get impeached?
Yep. Do it.
We can't hear you, Sergey. I think you're muted again.
Sir Jay, this has got to do with the election of officers.
Yeah.
I'll be right back.
We've got no sound, Sergey.
Well, I don't know if it's right or not. Go ahead. Go ahead, Scott. And I'll make the motion. Go ahead.
Sergey, give me a thumbs up if I should follow the agenda. There we go. All right, so let's call the meeting to order. Start with a roll call. Mr. Hines is present. Mr. Jackson.
Present.
Mr. Weddle.
Yes.
Mr. Paddock.
Present.
Okay,
Now-
we're all here. We have a quorum.
Wait a minute. I have, for the record, I've got to make a motion. And I enter the form of a motion that Scott Hines be president, Bill Paddock be vice president, and Cinnamon Franklin be the recording secretary.
I'll second that.
Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Now we're straight.
Thanks, Mel.
Thanks, Mel.
Test. Can you hear me? Yes. Okay, so there we go.
And Sergey drop off.
No, I think
Good.
You should be tested out here.
All right, can you guys hear me now?
We
yes.
Yes.
All right, thanks, Rob. Yeah. Yeah, I had that problem before, and I'm not sure what Rob did, but he fixed it. I could hear you perfectly, and my camera is also working. Just for some reason, my microphone wasn't. I apologize for that, everybody.
Yeah.
That's fine. While you were away, we elected officers, but we didn't vote on the board members. And I understand it's the board members we need to vote on. Is that right?
No, once you selected officers, that's it. That's
it.
what I
Okay,
meant
good.
by election of board members. All of your appointments been done before.
Okay. You can thank Mel for that.
Thanks, Mel. I appreciate it.
That's all right.
Everybody had a chance to review the meeting minutes from the December 10th meeting. Is there any questions, comments, or would anybody like to make a motion to approve?
Mr. President, I make a motion that we approve the meeting minutes for the December 10th meeting.
Second. Those in favor say aye.
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 Aye, motion passes. Any requests from the audience? Okay, airport manager report.
Yeah. I'll be
Larry,
real quick
are you
here.
substituting for Rick tonight?
Yes, I am. As you probably know, he is out till I think the 25th. He is doing well, and we expect him to see him back here soon.
Good.
Fuel report that's attached. Surprisingly enough, the December fuel sales are way up. I would suggest that's due to Jeff Air. They now have 7 Skyhawks here, which is 3 or 4 more than they had last year, and they're flying continuously. So they're buying a lot of low lead fuel from us, which is terrific.
Good.
Jet A numbers as well are up, surprisingly enough. We see the corporate traffic coming back. It was pretty quiet 3-4 months ago, but it's definitely busier now. So we're happy to see that as well. And even the jet traffic, you can see the increase there. So in spite of all the effects of COVID, the airport is actually doing very well in the year-to-year comps.
It looks
Airport redevelopment, the guys on gate 4 finished up today. The only thing left is some low voltage wiring for the swipe cards. Should have that completed in a day or two. Security cameras are up, working. We've got least half dozen additional screens. Those look terrific. You can see final grading started. We have a contractor for the bathrooms in the new hangar. That's Darrow with Pro Trades. I think probably all of you have heard that name. And that's about it. We do have a turboprop coming in a few minutes. So if you hear some noise, see an aircraft in the background, that's our latest tenant. He's in the main FBO hangar here. It's Mike Speedy, the state rep. You may know him. I suspect a lot of you do. And that means we're full in the main hangar, which is terrific. So also Rich Quinnett has been unable to work. We expect him back soon. So our thoughts are with both those fellows. We hope to see him back very soon. And that's about all I have.
Okay.
Thank you, Blair. I have a question for you. You mentioned corporate traffic being up. Is there one company that's accountable for that, or several, or?
Yeah, we have the fractionals, which are Wheels Up, NetJets, JetLink. We have some privately owned aircraft that appear to be using us more and more. We hear very positive comments from them. So it's kind of a combination of all those, but they enjoy coming to the airport. We try to give them the good service, and the employees that are here, we're pretty low on staff right now, but they're doing a great job of servicing everybody. So I want to compliment them as well.
Good. Is there anything we can do to give you more support, especially while you're shorthanded?
I think we're okay. You know, we're working a little bit overtime, but I appreciate the offer, but you know, we'll make it till, and like I said, the guys are back shortly, so I think we'll be fine. Thank you.
Good, good. Thank you. Okay, next item on the agenda is the corporate council report.
Hello, everybody. Just a side note, I'm really happy to hear that Mr. Speedy is now our tenant. I worked with him on a couple of legislative issues in the past, and he's a huge supporter of aviation and the House of Representatives in Indiana. And so I'm glad that he actually is now calls Greenwood Airport his aviation home. First item that I would like to request your approval is 2021 BOAC meetings dates. I apologize. We skipped that. We should have been approved in December, but it was my oversight. I did not include it on the agenda. So this is same thing. A second Thursday of each month will be our meetings. So I'm looking for a motion to approve 2021 BOAC meeting dates.
I move that we approve the 2021 board meeting dates.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes.
Thank you. A second item on the agenda, kind of piggyback from Blair here, the corporate lease with Jeff Air LLC for hangar 817. They have expanded their fleet. So now they're in corporate hangar. We're very happy about that. They've been a tremendous partner for many years now, and it seems like the business is doing good. It means our business is doing good. So that is a corporate hangar, corporate lease with Jeff Air LLC.
Scott, I'd be glad to move that we approve the lease agreement with Jeff Air LLC as presented and authorize the airport manager to execute on the board's behalf.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes.
Thank you. The next item is a small item from contract with Pro Trades for, they helped us with a concrete base for card readers, machine installations. So that one is for about $1,000. So that one is a contract with Pro Trades for concrete base for card reader machine.
I move that to approve an agreement with Pro Trades as presented and authorize the airport manager to execute on the board's behalf.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Sergey, we're approving the airport manager to sign. Is that going to work?
Yes. In fact, because that work has already been done, it's one of those small items that needed to be done, pretty much at that particular time. So actually so we usually, for small items like this, I ask Rick to execute it so the contractor can be paid quickly.
Okay,
Finance department requires that we do have some sort of agreement or contract for every single thing we do. So that's why the request that Rick signs it, executes it.
good.
The next two items are connected. The first one is, let's actually do them in reverse order. The first one is a contract with Midwest Electric for LED lights installation at our fueling station. That is a Phillips 66 sign and some other installation there. But that will be reimbursed by World Fuel, which is our fuel supplier, because it's really their promotional material. So we just, we paid for it now, but we will be reimbursed. So the first agreement is a contract with Midwest Electric for LED lights installation at the fuel station.
Anybody like to make a motion?
I'd move to approve a Midwest Electric Services agreement as presented and authorize airport manager to execute on the board's behalf.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes.
And finally, a reimbursement agreement with World Fuel for LED lights installation.
I move to approve an agreement with World Fuel as presented, and again to authorize the airport manager to execute on the board's behalf.
I'll second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes.
And I do have one more informational item for you. You did approve the agreements with World Fuel for fuel supply and Phillips 66 branding agreement last meeting. We did receive a request for amendment of those two agreements to include a very small item, basically saying that those amendments control if there is any disagreement between the major agreement and the amendment. You already approved those agreements, and this is not a substantive change. It's purely legal. So it's just, I'm letting you know that those agreements were slightly amended. All the terms remain the same, except for that clarification, what document would control if there is a disagreement between the two. And that's completes my report, unless you have any questions.
Questions?
Thank you, Sergey.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is the controller financial report.
All right, I'm gonna share my screen here. Everybody see these?
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just sent out the PDF of this. We've been trying to get all our closing entries in. The basic thing that I want to point out is, considering the year we had with COVID, we still only spent $7,600 more than what we brought in. And we managed to do almost $56,000 worth of capital improvements in the process. So I think that is a really good financial end for what 2020 turned out to be. We did end the year with just under $572,000 in the bank, which is about 42%, 42.5% reserve ratio. Again, keeping in mind that initially when we started the capital projects, we were anticipating that would be somewhere around 35%. I think we're in really good shape there as well. As per usual, you'll see that the fueling operations are almost 59% of revenues, and then almost 35% of expenses, and then it's kind of flip-flopped for base operations. At the end of the day, for the entire year, despite COVID-19 and all the fun we had with that, we still only outspent our revenues by $7,600, and that's not bad.
Yeah, good deal.
Are we making any headway on that percentage from base operations of revenue?
Yeah, we've been building that back up since we just did the capital improvements that you guys had approved in 19. You know, we spent that down close to 35% or so, and it's coming back up. So on the overall, we're still getting back from where we were. And, you know, at one point we were up around 50, and we'll be back there, I would imagine.
Good. Any questions?
None here.
Thank you, Greg. Next item is the airport engineering report.
All right. Thank you. Have a fairly short report this evening. Just a quick update on the apron expansion project. We had a good kickoff meeting with Indiana Department of Natural Resources and Indiana Department of Environmental Management, who will be reviewing the permit applications for the impacts to the stream and the wetlands and the floodway. It was a chance to introduce them to the project and have them run through what the application requirements will be, so that we can start working on pulling the design information together to make that permit application hopefully in a couple of months. On the design side, the geotechnical field work was completed, and right before the end of the year, we received the soils report for that work. And then also the field survey's been done, and we've kicked off the design and pulling that information in and getting the structural, hydraulics, and civil engineering staff working on the project, since this has multiple pieces. So moving along well. We'll be working towards getting the permit applications in to be able to confirm with the agencies the environmental mitigation requirements, to have that information to present to NDOT and FAA in pursuit of the 2021 grant. So any questions on the status of that project? Right now it's permit design. Okay, no AIP invoices or pay requests this month. We're starting to get the invoices from the geotech and survey work, so likely next month, if not in March for sure. The next item, the CARES Act grant closeout. When the airport submitted their pay request for the closeout grant, the FAA had not yet, or to be paid, we had to submit this data, but the FAA had not yet established their closeout process. So they now have a report form, and then the other is the same summary of expenditures form that was submitted before, but we're requesting approval. There's two places Scott will need to sign as board president to submit the CARES Act grant closeout documents.
I would move that we approve submission of the CARES Act grant closeout documents.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes.
All right, thank you. Included with the engineer's report is a copy of the capital improvement program. The update is due February 1st. Recognizing that Rick was going to be out, we've been working with him and actually had him pre-sign it. But basically, as we've coordinated with you before, the first 4 years, including this year, are anticipated to be the apron expansion program with the design and then mitigation, 3 phases of construction. And then following that, we've included a project to make sure that the existing apron pavement is being kept in good condition by sealing the joints, repairing any sections that need it. And then the final project in the CIP is starting to save the non-primary entitlement towards the precision approach path indicators, the lights on both ends of the runways to guide a pilot whether they're high, low, or on glide path when they're coming in. That type of improvement can only be funded with the non-primary entitlements. So we're anticipating at least 2, potentially almost 3 years will need to go towards that project. And so want to see if there's any questions on the CIP.
I've none.
Okay, if that's the case, then I'd ask for approval to submit the capital improvement program covering 2021 to 2026 to NDOT.
I move we approve submission of capital improvement program 2021 to 26 to NDOT.
I'll second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes.
All right. The next item is just informational. You may have seen that, and unfortunately, they didn't come up with a good acronym like they did the first time with the CARES Act, but the Coronavirus Response and Relief Supplemental Appropriations Act of 2021, essentially CARES Act 2, has been passed. It includes up to $45 million for general aviation airports for operations, cleaning, sanitization, janitorial, basically to combat the disease, and then also debt service. The FAA is working on defining this program. So as soon as we know more, we'll let you know. But it may be another opportunity to receive a grant to assist with funding operations. And fortunately, based on the airport manager's report, the airport's in a good position, but certainly this can still help assist with the operations going forward. So as soon as we know more, we'll be sharing that information with Rick and the staff. And then just the last part of my report is the status update on the AIP grant. As I say, there's no invoices or pay requests, so there's no changes in that from the last board meeting. So any questions?
Susan, I do have a question. Just out of curiosity, I cannot recall if in the original CARES Act, the debt service was included as one of the ways to spend the funds, and it seems like in the new version it is. Is that I'm just not remembering it right, or is it a new way to spend those funds?
No, I believe it was included because basically the first act allowed airports to use it for anything that you could spend airport revenue on, and debt service was one of those items. Probably heard more about debt service related to commercial service airports, but as long as it is an allowable expense with airport revenue, it would be allowable for any
So
airport.
it was just spelled out this time rather than just any and all operational expenses.
Yeah, at least in the summary that I pulled this information from, it is, as I said, the FAA will be, I think, they're hoping to do it by the end of January to have some additional guidance as to how they take the legislation and then interpret it and apply it for airports.
Thank you.
Hey, Susan, on the PPP loans that I do on my part-time job at the bank, the round 2 of the CARES Act is requiring the companies to show economic injury. Is there anything to that effect regarding the airport?
Nothing that I've heard of to date, but we'll definitely watch that. Hopefully it isn't included, because there are obviously a lot of airports that are having economic impact. So maybe it's just assumed, but we'll definitely watch for FAA guidance on that.
Okay.
And we were negative on the balance sheet at the end of the year, so we should qualify.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The just side note, but the PPP, to qualify, you have to show 25% reduction in revenue for either a month or a quarter versus last year. So that's gonna weed a lot of people out that got money the first go around. I just didn't know if that was being applied universally.
Yeah, we will definitely watch, and I know there's been some discussion within the industry, and I did not have a chance to hear what was actually being proposed by President-elect Biden with his recovery bill, but I know they've been pushing for assistance for airports in that as well. Because if you recall, in 2020, the AIP grant was supplemented to be at 100%. So again, we're going to just have to wait and see as that comes out. But something clearly we'll keep monitoring and keep you informed as we get additional information.
Okay.
Good.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Do we have any board requests?
No, I have a question though. Did you and Jordan have a chance to go by and sign those documents?
Not yet. That's next on the agenda.
Zach,
Mel, we should have made you president, Mel. You're
Yeah,
No,
cracking the whip on us.
no, I just want to.
Next item on the agenda is approval of the claims docket. I don't know if it's one of these two. I was going to comment that Cinnamon has been cracking on us, but now Mel's jumping on too.
We need, can we put both years in one motion, or do we need two separate motions? One covers 2020 check claims and the other's 2021.
Sergey?
You can do it all in one motion.
Okay. Well, I'll be glad to make a motion if you want.
Do you have the dollar amounts, Bill?
Yes. Uh-huh.
Fire away.
I move that we approve the claims docket for $138,000, $138,509.25 for 2021 claims and $156,163.19 for 2020 claims.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. So now, with that being done, where do I go to the City of Greenwood building, or do I go to the airport to sign?
The airport.
Okay, and is tomorrow sufficient?
Sure.
All right. Mel, you're not gonna come over and whoop on me or anything?
Nope.
Call to check, make sure you did.
That's all right. I'll always take a phone call.
You still need my signature, or Scott, are you the only one that need to sign it?
Yeah, you and Scott.
Okay.
Okay. I actually am gonna leave the house tomorrow, which doesn't sound like a big deal, but anymore, that's a pretty big deal.
An
I will
adventure.
make a point of coming by. Okay, I thought I saw Terry there once upon a time. Mel, you still got Terry with you?
I've got him.
Do you want to add anything?
Yeah, I'd just like to say on behalf from the mayor's office, kudos to the staff at the airport. Not only, with being down people, but, being they all work well together. They're a good team, and they always get the job done, and it's not unnoticed at all. So I just wanted to thank everybody, and please pass that along if you would, Blair, and thank you, Cinnamon.
Thank you.
Thank you, Terry. Thank you.
Amen. Okay, then our next meeting is February 11th at 5:30. Do we any idea if we're going to be on Zoom or if we're going to meet in person? Probably Zoom.
Most
Probably.
likely.
Okay. All right. Well, appreciate you coming. I'm
Mr.
sorry.
President, Mel just instructed me to send Dwayne Burgess after you if you don't have it done by tomorrow.
Oh, me.
And you won't be riding in the front seat.
Uh-oh.
I'll plead the fifth. All right. We are adjourned. I appreciate everybody tuning in, coming out, whatever you did.
All right.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, Scott.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Come on.